Hey everyone, it's Peter K, aka Trendcrusher, back with another interview on the Metal Wanderlust. Thanks for everyone who checked out my last interview with Creeping Death. This time, it's all about the deathcore. Yeah, it's 2022 and we're talking deathcore, and one of the bands whose reason behind it is Enterprise Earth. Earlier this month, they released their fourth album, The Chosen, and it's their most diverse release yet. With 14 songs over 67 minutes, it left me wondering what's coming next, and I really enjoyed it. Hence, I wanted to talk to the band and also find out what's up with deathcore in 2020. So, here's my chat with Gabe from Enterprise Earth. Hi, Gabe. How are you doing today?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I mean, it's great to speak to you, but I see you're on tour, so I have to acknowledge that. Where are you at the moment?
We're at our fill-in singer's brother's house in Sacramento right now.
Okay, nice,
So
nice.
yeah, just
That,
chilling out before the show.
okay, that sounds great. And you're currently on tour with Fit for Autopsy. You've also got bands like Ingested, Signs of the Swarm, and you've got your label mates, Great American Ghost. Now, everyone keeps asking you how's the tour going and stuff like that. I'm going to spin this around. What's one thing on this tour that's actually surprised you?
That surprised us. Honestly, and it's not to undersell the tour at all. It's like I wasn't expecting this tour to crush it as much as it is right now. Like this tour has been doing really, really well. Yeah, like lots of sold out shows. The ones that haven't sold out have been pretty damn close, and every show's been rowdy. Everyone's been having a good time. I mean, we expected it to do well with our new album and Fitra and Autopsy's new album coming out. And Jested also putting out a new song as well. But yeah, it's I think it's safe to say it's exceeded everyone's expectations so far.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the sold out shows because shout out to the editor of the Metal Wanderlust, Joel. He messaged me when I was told him I'm going to interview guys. He was like, you know what, ask them how the hell this tour is going because he tried to get a ticket for the show and it was already sold out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and it's crazy because I realized that you guys were actually touring just when the pandemic hit. So what's it like to be back on the road again? I mean, it's been a couple of years and it's been hard for everyone around, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it feels good, obviously, to get back out doing our thing. It felt good to go out in the fall with Lorna Shore too. That was our first time back since everything happened. But yeah, it feels good to be back out here doing what we do best, and bringing live music back into people's lives and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that. At least, at least in North America, you've got live music happening still.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're here basically to talk about your new album, The Chosen. It's been less than a week that the album's out. How's the response been to the new songs live?
Oh, it's been incredible because we've pretty much been we're playing all brand new songs for our set, except for one song. And so, the week prior to the album coming out, no one had heard most of these songs before, except for two of them, I think. And yeah, the crowd, really good crowd reception. I would say better than we've ever had before, to songs that no one's heard yet,
Yeah, and that's a
up until a few days ago. So
yeah, and that's a bit of a risk, right? If you think about it,
oh
because
yeah,
typically you have at least like a few songs that people want to kind of watch, but stacking up your set list with a lot of like new songs, I'm glad that's working out for you. And
yeah.
I have to ask you about the new album, right? Because I read somewhere that you described your previous album, Lucifer's, as your most mature album to date. So
Mm-hmm.
now when you're looking at that in hindsight, how would you describe, or keeping that in mind, how would you describe The Chosen?
I mean, this one, it's another maturation. It's also our most mature album to date. But life's always, that's a good thing though. Right? It's because you don't want to get less mature because that means your music's going south. But no, it's this album's been it's been a wonderful reception from our fans and everyone so far. I've seen a lot of positive feedback online. And because we took a lot of risks on this album, incorporated singing, new elements, more melody, all these things. And for sometimes in a band in our genre that can be a risk and people don't like that, but we just wanted to write fun songs and have a good time. And fortunately, it seems like people are really enjoying it. So that makes me very happy.
Yeah, I'm going to give you props for not saying like the most brutal or heaviest album because that's what every band says,
Right, right. Yeah.
right? And I have to say, because like when I'm listening to the album, there's such a diverse sound to the album, right? I mean, it's one of those things where typically you have bands which will kind of keep a very similar kind of sonic palette. So you know that, okay, either it's going to be like brutal, brutal, brutal. But one thing I really liked about The Chosen is I had no idea what the next song was going to be about, right? Because you've got those like clean guitars at one point. Next thing you know, you've got the clean vocals, and you're just like, wait, is this the same band?
Mhm.
Is that been the response like, or was that like a very conscious thing? I must ask you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that has been the response, and it's not so much that it was a conscious effort of ours to be like, hey, let's write a bunch of different songs. We were just like, we just want to write fun songs, man. You know, that's really it. You know, we're not worried about sticking to a formula, sticking to limitations of our genre or boundaries or anything like that. We just wanted to write fun songs, and if we felt that they, you know, fit the Enterprise Earth moniker, if they could fit, you know, then we would just roll with it. And yeah, I was very happy to, you know, we were very happy to write this diverse album. So, I mean, and the nothing wrong with bands that, you know, write an album of 12 of the same songs or write the same style album over and over again. I love bands that do that too. You know, the consistency is good. But we just wanted to just take a fresh approach, and, you know, hopefully the listener can enjoy the album the whole way through without getting bored or hearing the same song. Oh, be like, oh, that song sounds like the last song, you know, or anything like that. You know, trying to give you know, a good album listening experience, and you know, keep people engaged, and just have a fun listening experience to this record.
Yeah, and one thing that really surprised me, because I've not like been following your career for a while, was that you, and I'm gonna take a deep breath before I say this, engineered, produced, mixed, mastered the album, everything except record the drums. And now, having gone through the entire process, do you think that's a good or bad thing?
Oh, it was a great thing for us. It was good for us to go the self production route, because now we can, you know, put out music whenever we want. It was good for me because now I'm getting more into studio work, and, you know, doing I love studio work. I love, you know, working with sound and audio, and tinkering with noises and all that stuff. So it was the pandemic was like sucked, but at the same time, whenever all that happened, that's what prompted us to go the self production route. So without the pandemic, this album wouldn't be what it is, honestly. So it was very much a silver lining of the whole situation.
Wow, I'm very glad to hear that because, like, you know, a lot of bands were so used to studio, right? And I'm glad you all kind
Mm-hmm.
of picked up and made the best of the whole situation. Having said that, right, and I can only ask you this because you mixed the album and mastered it. Going into the mixing and mastering process, were there certain sonic references that you had for the album that you were looking at? So I mean, I'm going to kind of put you at the spot. What are the albums that you were listening to kind of figure out this is the kind of sound that I want for The Chosen?
Yeah. So the last Luciferus, the last album we did entirely with Jason Sukoff, who I'm happy to call one of my good friends at this point too. And he's been a very big inspiration to me, and I learned a lot watching him too, because a lot of my favorite heavy records of all time were done by him. And so definitely picking up a lot from him during the Luciferus sessions, just asking him questions. Mark Lewis, who also used to work with Jay at one point in time, he's done like the past several Whitechapel albums, Havoc, you know, a lot of like death and thrash metal stuff. I really enjoy their mixes because they're just so clean and just really polished sounding. And then I just kind of wanted just to do my take on that. You know, just add uh, whatever, you know, I felt necessary to add to my mixes. And that's also why we went to Jason Sukoff to record the drums too, because I love his drum tones. And yeah, so definitely a big inspiration from him. And there's a lot of modern producers that I, you know, draw from as well.
It's hard to kind of not notice in the recent times that deathcore has kind of made a comeback, right? I mean, there
Oh
was
yeah.
a time or a brief period of time, I wouldn't say it was too long ago, where deathcore is like literally a 4-letter word, right? No one wanted to
Mhm.
call their band deathcore. The deathcore bands kind of incorporated clean singing and things like that. Uh, I mean, I know unfortunately you all get tagged as deathcore, but anyone who listens to The Chosen will realize it's far from that, right? What are your thoughts? I mean, of course, there are people who are going to use tags very loosely, but what's your
Sure.
thoughts on the deathcore at least?
I mean, people can call us whatever they want to call us. I don't care as long as they like the music. But I think the cool thing about our deathcore genre that a lot of bands kind of fall or get not so much fall under, but get thrown into thrown under that subgenre. It's evolving very rapidly, and it's become this genre subgenre where you can kind of just pull from any genre of metal, and it can be deathcore. So I feel like it's like the modern. It's like the it's quickly rising from this like very niche, mysterious subgenre of just blast beats and brutal stuff to coming to the forefront of the metal subgenres and being, I feel like a premier genre of metal. And yeah, again, rapidly evolving and changing, and it's quickly becoming a genre where there are no rules, which I like. So
I'm very curious. I mean, considering that you're on like a month-long tour and stuff like that, right? It's metal, metal, metal all day. So, what do you guys listen to while on tour?
I mean, sometimes metal, but it's a lot of not metal. I personally, I like bluegrass. I like electronic music, jazz, all kinds of stuff. Cameron, our sound guy, likes to listen to like SoundCloud rap and like other things like that. And it's like all over the place. It like between the five of us in the van, we seriously cover every ground of or every genre of music.
Yeah, nice. I mean, that's nice, right? Because you can't, there's only that much level because your ears get saturated. Now, I must also ask you, I mean, considering we're talking in January, right? And it's a bit of a risk if you think about it, releasing an album in January, because come November, while the year end lists are being made, there are going to be like 100 odd or even more albums, right?
Yeah.
Was that
Mhm.
something playing in your mind, or you were just like, you know what, we're going to get this album out?
Well, maybe a little bit, but not so much because I mean, the whole purpose of releasing this album in January was to release it on this tour. Um, because we like putting albums out on tour so we can promote the new album on tour. Makes sense, right? Sell records, promote the new music. Try to generate some buzz. And it kind of worked out cool for us and the entire deathcore genre on January 14th because we put out a new album. Fit for an Autopsy put out a new album. Shadow of Intent put out a new album. And there was like a bunch of other releases too. That and like we're friends. We're all friends with each other.
Well, that was a short chat that I had with Gabe. The reason why it kind of tapered out towards the end was because the band are currently on tour and Gabe's mobile battery actually ran out. So that's all the time I had with him. However, do definitely check out The Chosen if that sounded interesting to you. Um, Also, for those of you in the US, I'm really jealous if you've managed to get tickets to go watch them. That's all for this interview and me. Keep an eye out on the Metal Wanderlust for more interviews like this and also reviews of your favorite artists. If there's any artist you want us to review, or if you're a label or band that wants to get in touch, just hit us up with the contact page on our website. And I'll see you next time. Cheers and horns up.